forcing something to happen versus allowing something to happen. There is a distinct difference. And as we are in charge of our own universe, we can make that choice of perception of how we address something, about how we approach something. So, you know, a lot of times we want something to happen so badly that we do anything in our power to make it happen. And this could be in so many different examples. So we can look at this as the massage therapist who sees a knot in the body and they are just forcing all this pressure to get that knot out of this client's body. Or you could also look at it in another example where a parent could just force their children to be good children and to not get involved with a bad gang or a crowd, or just forcing them by the overprotective rules in the house and just forcing them to be something that they want them to be. So there are so many different examples of how we in our daily life try to force something to happen. We want to get to work on time, so we'll run that red light, or we really want other people to believe what we want to believe, so we just force our opinions and beliefs on other people. We definitely see this a lot online as well. So that's like forcing something to happen because you want it to happen so badly. And the thing is we're not really in control of the results. We're in control of our reaction, our response, our perception. Like, we have our own levels of control, but the ultimate results we're not actually in control of. We don't actually know what's going to happen. We can pray, we could do our best to manifest, but it doesn't always happen the way that we expect it to, but the way that we deep within inside are asking for, whether it's challenges or karma, or again, a prayer that could be answered, but just again not in the way that we expected. So forcing something to happen is just, it's not going to happen that way. You can't live life that way. You can't live in that high intensity stress of trying so hard to get things to happen. And now, there's also this perception of like, well, I want to run that marathon. I want to run that race. So does that mean that I can't, train to work to win that? And no, there's a difference here. So training towards something, you have a goal and you're going towards it. You're not forcing yourself to win. You're allowing the circumstances for your training, for your diet, for your sleep patterns, for all the choices that you use. You're going to maintain these exercises to get to your goal. And so that's strategic planning towards training towards something. Forcing something to happen would be that example of Tanya Harding and the whole example of having a hitman injure the person who is your competitor. So like, that's like forcing the circumstances in your favor. So that's different. Like, you want it so badly to win that you're going to eliminate the competitor. So that would be forcing. So what does allowing look like? How do we allow these things to happen? And so when we step back into our body and we find that aligned self and we keep the breath flowing, and again, we are knowing what our goal is, we're knowing what's happening, but we also know that we're not in control of what happens, again, how we perceive it. So if your child really wants to go out and you're trying to keep them in your protective bubble, if you actually allow them to, yeah, they might make some mistakes here and there, but they get to organically grow into the person that might actually surprise you. They might not be in those gangs or those bad crowds. They actually might be more involved in things that you didn't give them the opportunity before to have that organic growth. So by allowing them rather than restricting them, you actually get to have this organic growth within them. Or what was that first example I used? In anything that you allow for, so body work, deep tissue, for example, a lot of people think, I gotta get that knot out, deep tissue, deeper, and that's not how you do it. You have to come back and listen and approach the body gently and sink into the tissue, and the tissue will let you in. If you try to force something, it goes into a fight or flight and like, no, don't come in. But if you sit there and you wait and you allow, then you actually get even deeper than you would had you just been deep tissue the muscle. You can actually go sink deeper, farther than bone in a lot of ways, like energetically speaking. And so with anything in life, pay attention to where your stress level is and if you're forcing something. So if you're in this job and you're forcing yourself to get up to go to this job that you do not like every day and it drives you crazy and you're miserable, why are you forcing that? You know, people say, oh, I need the paycheck. But if you stop and you come back to yourself and you trust and that God has got you and that everything's going to work out fine, there's nothing to be afraid of. Quit the job. There's going to be another door opening for you that's going to be more in alignment to yourself. And you might not be able to see it then, but if you come back and you trust and you eliminate the thing that you're forcing, it just comes right into the perfect alignment. Your prayer does get answered. You will get what you need when you settle into your body and you pray about it and you allow the circumstances to unfold. And so sometimes this does not always look pretty. Sometimes, again, we might lose our job, we might lose our partner, and we might lose our dog the same month out of nowhere. And can you imagine all that stress of like, oh my gosh, what's happening in my life? It's the tower in the tarot deck. What is going on? And when I see that happening to somebody, I'm so happy for them because yes, it sucks. It's human to have these feelings of loss, of sadness, of fear, of survival. But if you recognize like, oh, I see God, okay, you're cleaning up shop here. I see what's coming. We got to get rid of the old in order to bring in the new. And so I'm just going to stop and allow this to happen. And then you get to grow from the new foundation. And this isn't always easy, but it's necessary for our growth, for our ascension, for our development as humans. So stop forcing those things to happen. If you're noticing yourself forcing this relationship to work, forcing yourself to do something you don't want to do because you feel other people want you to do, get rid of all that. Stop and allow yourself to be the person who you are meant to be uniquely. Each and every one of us has a unique imprint on this planet. Why on earth would you try and force to be something that you're not when you have already been given the gift of being that special you? So step back again, come back to your aligned self, breathe into the body, connect with God, and then allow the situation to unfold the best way for you in this life.